Graeme Craig is responsible for the development of TfL's commercial property estate. We met on the site of the joint venture development between TfL, Delancey and APG.
Welcome to Earls Court. This is a potential 40-acre development in West London. What you see behind me is Earls Court Station and the District and Piccadilly lines that are coming from that. In front of me is West Brompton Station, and to my right is West Kensington Station. So what we have here is a 40-acre development site between three stations, a huge amount of infrastructure on this site. In fact, we are stood above the West London line, a huge amount of infrastructure, but in a supremely well connected part of London. And a very important site where we've got the ability to open up this site for the first time in over 100 years. We're stood now in front of Lilliebridge Depot. This is a live working operational depot, but working with Transport for London, we have agreement to move all the activities taking place elsewhere to other places on TfL's estate, and that will then allow us to bring this 14-acre site into the Earls Court development. TTL Properties, not the best name in the world, was never intended to be a public-facing company, brand name. So, but of course that's what it became when the pandemic meant that TfL had no money to invest in property, and we agreed with TfL, with government and with the mayor that we would set up a company that's wholly owned by TfL but financially separate. So we then thought about what do we call ourselves, and Places for London was the first name that we identified. Now we then thought of about 200 others, but came back to Places for London because it describes better than anything what it is we do. We're developing, managing, curating spaces in London, but we're not just doing it in London, we're doing it for London. If we remember at all times that we need to be seeking to address the challenges that London has, then we won't go far wrong. And we know what those challenges are. London does not have enough affordable homes. It doesn't have enough workspace, particularly affordable workspace. It doesn't have enough light industrial space. So there's a climate emergency that we need to address. If we can just consciously be mindful at all times what it is that London needs. In terms of homes, we're still committed to bringing forward 20,000 homes over the course of the next 10 years, or rather the first 10 years of the plan. Again, we're committed to the fact that half of those homes will be affordable. Currently we've got 3,350 homes started under construction. We've completed over 800 homes, and we'll be bringing them forward at the rate of something like 2,000 homes a year, including the potential here at Earls Court for, who knows, maybe 4,500 homes that we can be building on this site, a site that has lain empty for too long, but one that we and our joint venture partners are keen to see brought back to life. The magic ingredient for where we are now is previously we were in competition with Transport for funding. Now we're still owned by TfL, we're still here to serve TfL. We're still very conscious that everything we do, we look to deliver transport improvements, whether that's step-free access or an electrified bus fleet or walking or cycling schemes. We're still here for TfL, we're still here for London, but now we take no funding from TfL. Now we're a commercially funded organisation, and that gives us more ability to invest, to take things forward at greater scale, at greater pace than has been the case in the past. So we have completed at Black Horse View. We've got construction underway for 619 homes at Kidbrooke. We've got a direct development at Fenwick, 46 homes. We've got 4 sites that have started construction with Granger at Arnos Grove, Montfort Place, Nine Elms and Southall. There's a huge amount of construction that's already underway. We're keen to bring forward Earls Court with Delancey and APG, our joint venture partners here. We're also keen to bring forward Edgware with our joint venture partner Ballymore. There's a huge amount that we want to be doing across London. I believe that Places for London is London's newest great estate. There are many lessons that we can learn from those organisations that we all know that have been successful for not just decades but centuries in this city. That's what we are. We are a great estate with a very strong social purpose that's in this for the long term. There always will be capital that we recycle, just like any major property company, and that's what we now are. But ultimately for us, it's about holding, investing and seeing a growing income stream. And again, remember at all times, all that income that we create gets reinvested into London's transport network. So we build homes, including very high levels of affordable housing. We create jobs, we create growth, and all the profits get reinvested into London's transport network. All capital receipts we recycle within the company. It's the profit from the recurring revenue. So for those 2,500 commercial tenancies, 93% of whom are small businesses, it's the profit from that goes into TFL. And I'm under no illusions whatsoever. We gain massively from being part of TFL. TFL has set this organisation up. We've got almost £2 billion worth of assets. More particularly, we are inside the tent, so we're working with TFL. We've got access to the best rail engineers anywhere in the world, and we're working with them to bring forward development above and around the transport network in London on a scale and in a way that no other organisation would be able to do so. So that's the advantage we've got. And of course, people want to live, people want to work around the transport network. That's where Transport for London sites are. That's therefore where Places for London sites are. So the fact that the profit from recurring revenues gets reinvested in the transport network, I regard as a plus, a positive. We're working with TFL to make sure at all times we've also got the capital to invest to take forward the estate that we've got, and TFL has been absolutely clear it is in this for the long term. It wants us to grow long-term sustainable income from the assets that we have. I think the pandemic has had a whole series of impacts across London. It's certainly seen a very clear bifurcation, for example, in terms of the commercial office. So the premium that is paid for the very best sustainable commercial office buildings with the highest well-being credentials, we see that absolutely, which is entirely in line with the plans that we had, particularly in that context for our joint venture recently announced with Helical. In terms of outer London, I think there will be more people staying, working around, spending more time in outer London. That, of course, is where the bulk of our sites are. So we were never intended as an organisation that simply took advantage of people commuting into central London. We've got some fantastic central London sites, but the vast majority of our development, the vast majority of our investment was already planned to be in outer London. What's particularly helpful about that is we announced a collaboration agreement with Network Rail. Once you start to combine TfL's and Network Rail's interests in London's suburban town centres. If in particular we can also be working with local boroughs, other particularly public sector landowners, you can then really start to see how we might have a transformational impact on multiple town centres across London, making sure that those town centres have the facilities, the homes, the workspace, the retail space, the entertainment, leisure space that means that those places we're investing in, that people can spend quality time there. I'm absolutely optimistic of the long-term potential of the assets that we've got.